What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Civilization 5. We've got the AI-only reverse colonization world game. What is going on? What is going on? I'm going to ask you the question, but I should probably answer it. The Shoshone are pretty big, you know, the Sioux are pretty big, Argentina are pretty big. Other than that, I really have no idea. Oh look, LA is actually going to fall. Okay, I looked away for a few turns at the end of last video, and something is happening. Something is going down. Let's see. But other than that, also Brazil are heading with settlers towards Africa before they soon probably get pushed out of South America. So we'll see Brazil, probably the first nation to reside entirely in... Wow. Okay, the Sioux and Shoshone are confusing me so much because they're going down completely different routes of the tech tree, and yet which makes them look so different. Cause like the Shoshone have so many plains, the Sioux have none. But the Sioux have the Manhattan Project, which the Shoshone may have got ages ago and I just missed out. But either way, the Sioux just took Los Angeles, and the rest of the cities might... San Francisco is still going to be very difficult to take, but it should make it easier to push up now towards Sacramento and take back this city they lost a little while ago. Or they could just get a really nice peace deal, take back their city up here north of Sacramento and take San Francisco. They could probably get a peace deal like that. Where's those Brazilian settlers heading? Seems like they're heading towards South Africa. There we go. So Africa's been definitely one of the more desired areas. We've seen Canada out here, Australia, with quite a lot of units out here too. The Sioux are obviously up here now. New Zealand are now looking pretty good in Southeast Asia. Maybe they'll go for more of India, Afghanistan, Pakistan. Although this region is still completely empty. Almost all of Russia's also empty, so lots of land there. And most of Europe. I mean, apart from parts of here. France has almost been swallowed up, but Italy pretty much gone. Spain pretty much full, and Portugal, and obviously Samoa in Japan. But other than that, that's about it. I thought, oh no, California have a settler. I have no idea where it's going, but they did get it out just in time. Oh, Los Angeles fell back to California. I didn't expect to see that, but California's got some artillery coming out. The Sioux, sorry, have got oh my goodness. The Sioux have got California coming now. No, the Sioux have got... That is very sexual, actually. The Sioux. Don't know what they're doing to California. But anyway, the Sioux have got artillery now coming to California. So that should break things up a bit. An outbreak of SARS. I take it that just means the S just stands for sore. And the rest of it is just said arse. Sore arse in Argentina. But, I have no idea what that disease is. But anyway, Argentina hit with another disease. I think they've had a few. The bigger you are, you know, the more likely you are. They're obviously very dirty, these Argentinians, not washing their hands and stuff. This is their punishment for picking on small nations and throwing units to die in the corral. These fields are probably full of dead bodies. It's not pleasant right now. Brazil, are you going to pump out any more settlers? Now would be the best time to... Oh, you landed one here as well. So you're going for South Africa. Going for 2 separate colonies. That's pretty... Oh, no. Oh, no. You dick. The Sioux, how have you done... The Sioux killed it. No. Yeah, the Sioux are at war with Brazil, and they... Oh, they just made it. They just made it. The Sioux are coming, though. Is there any more settlers out here? No. Australia just sending units. There's a Shoshone submarine. That is going to confuse some people. But yeah, the Sioux are killing Brazilian settlers. It's an awful time. Probably the riflemen going with them too. So the Sioux, yep, that's why they're avoiding South Africa with this settler. They'll probably go settle along this river. And again, near Canada and Australia. Maybe not so great. Ah, poor Sioux. Poor Sioux? No, bad Sioux. Poor Brazil. Little Salvador, Brazil. Who actually could end up being killed by the Sioux. Which wouldn't be good, because the Sioux have got some boats over here. Probably won't happen just yet, though, so that's good news for now. Little Brazil. Sioux, you have your own war to be focusing on. You're only just clinging on to LA and all its good resources. So, get that artillery a bit nearer. Start bombing San Francisco. It will all be good for you. Just leave Brazil alone. That's all I'm saying. Just leave Brazil alone. Is there any more... Anything else? Is that Californian settler? Oh, okay, it is going this way. Where is it going to go? It'll go northern Japan. I just know it's going to go for northern Japan. There's nowhere else it could possibly go. Except northern Japan. Oh, we're scrolling down. Kulin are still sending units across the Pacific. Kind of sad because they're failing very miserably. This is quite... Oh, there's just no resources here. I should have put on the one thing that gives loads of resources. But then North America would have been full of resources and it wouldn't have mattered anyway. So it's... I have no idea how to make it more entertaining in the colonial world. Maybe I would say maybe later on. But normally if you have just civs in the old world, they do tend to fill out North America eventually. But I mean, maybe it's just because there's not enough in this game. Maybe that's what it is. It's just not enough civs to do it. Maybe. Who knows? Anything? Just at the moment, there's very quiet on the war front as well. There's just Argentina v the Corral, which isn't really bringing anything, and the Sioux v California, and that's it. It's all very quiet. The Shoshone haven't yet started fighting the Tlingit. I think this is more of just to scare them with rocket artillery, because you know you need that to scare. Like, you don't have infantry, but you have rocket artillery. This is what I don't get with the Sioux. And they still have Comanche riders as well. I know you like your unique unit, but they will be crushed by the Sioux if they are fighting with Comanche riders. Be an interesting war to see how the AI managed it if the Sioux did fight the Shoshone. They're both equally strengthed almost. They've got different... They've put their eggs in different baskets on the tech tree and in terms of weapons. The Shoshone probably... I don't know, actually. The Sioux probably have a bigger navy. But yeah... It would be quite an interesting war, because obviously it's such a big border as well. I wonder how the Sioux would, and how the AIs would deal with it. If I was the Sioux, obviously you'd take the city first just to remove the border gore. And then you'd probably go for the bigger city, the 26 population city, simply because then you can cut off the capital. Once you take the capital, a Civ's good as done. Well, they had the Great Wall. That's not effective anymore. It doesn't matter if the Sioux are fighting against the Civ with the Great Wall. They'll be fine. I just saw something that we don't usually see AIs build. There's a land ship. They're quite rare. Normally, when you have like a runaway Civ that's doing really well, they tend to build them because they don't know what else to do with themselves. But yeah, it's unusual that someone in actual sort of arms race would build one. I guess this is kind of... Yeah, I'm going to call this an arms race. Why not? Let's quickly check. Now, Argentina are actually winning, but there is a race. I take probably 356,000. The Shoshone just winning by 11,000. There we go. Brasilia... Along the... I have no idea what this river's called, which is probably bad, but I'm just going to call it the Mali River for today, because it's near Mali. It's coming from this mountain, because, you know, all rivers start up and flow down to the sea, but you'd think it would just flow sort of off the mountain the other way into the sea, but, you know, where's the logic in that? But yeah, Brazil, now here. Very, very nice. Hopefully they'll fill up. Hopefully their borders will grow quite quickly, fill up quite a bit. You know, they got some sugar, they wanted that. Obviously they can't chop down the Amazon for their sugar anymore, if there is any over here. Can't really see. Is there any sugar? There was salt. I imagine Brazil's quite salty. It looks like Chile may be about to go and finish off Brazil anyway, with this big navy. Argentina, what are you doing? I know Argentina's being smart already. They're already trading with people like Australia and Canada, which is quite smart because it avoids anyone that might try and be brave enough to attack the biggest military in the world. I don't know how they've managed that, because they're not as up to date as the other nations. They still have riflemen. So Great War... Oh, they do have a few Great War infantry. They've got the money to upgrade everything, so I don't know why not. They only just entered the atomic era though, so they are a bit behind tech-wise, I feel. But they have the numbers, and they have the biggest navy, I think, of the top three. Although Chile appear to have a huge navy too. And if you have Chile and the Sioux teaming up to try and take down the Brazilians. Oh no, the Sioux left. Never mind. That lasted really long, didn't it? Canada and California have peaced out. No cities changing hands. Where did that California... Oh my goodness. Please do not settle there. There is all of this. There's some good resources over here. Some good salt. There's some fur. There's the Mongolian desert's nice this time of year. Just get over there. Come on. Please do not settle over there. The only thing Canada is benefiting from here is they have got an archaeologist going around getting every single antiquity site in the world. They are benefiting from that, I guess. Canada and the Shoshone, you were killing each other less than 30 years ago. Now you have open borders. What is... I guess this is like the European Union and Germany. Now all best buds. Australia are attacking Canadian Nigeria, apparently. Didn't know that. You are still alive. Australia's not dead just yet. But Samoa, who are looking very good themselves. the two huge cities. And now Great War Infantry. New Zealand don't have that. Neither do the Kulin. Both have riflemen though. We haven't seen a war down here in a while. I think it's a bit of a stalemate at the moment between Samoa, Kulin and New Zealand. Two of them will need to get like a 2v1 deal. So if New Zealand team up with the Kulin against Samoa. Samoa are probably the strongest. Plus they're in a good position. Having their big cities not actually on Australia. That's pretty good because the Kulin are pretty much all on. I think they are all on Australia. And then New Zealand are a bit spread out. New Zealand do have a lot of units in Southeast Asia. Whether they would help at all, I don't know. But oh my goodness, San Diego. More like I don't know. Insert pun here, but it's not very sandy here. So go away, Sandy. Go away. There you go. Actually, let's just blotch out the sand and ignore the word go. No, switch die and go, and it tells these Californians that they should go die. There we go. Because they had all of Siberia, everything. Even though Siberia probably isn't that great, you know, in real terms. You probably don't want to live out there. I'm sure there's people that do. Credit to you. Same as those people that live all the way up here in the snow. And everyone earlier in the series, I was talking about people that lived up here. And I know I said the Eskimos, but I actually meant, like, you know, the people you see on those TV shows that just like live by themselves and walk around with a rifle at like 5 in the morning, just seeing if any bears are near their house. Not necessarily the people that live this far up in the igloos. The Inuits. I know now. I knew before, but I just couldn't think of the word. But yeah, that's what I meant. I meant people that probably live like here, around Grand River. Actually, Grand River's got skyscrapers. That's a bad example. But you know, if taking aside the Civ part of it, the people that live like here in the tundra, in the forest, shooting bears, doing their thing, and not because, like, you know, it's not they don't want to shoot bears. You know, shooting bears is pretty bad. I'm pretty sure we can agree on that. At least some people can agree on that. That you shouldn't shoot bears for fun or for sport, but shooting bears when they might come through your window and eat you is probably okay. I'll let you off, as long as, you know, you, I don't know, I was going to say plant. I was going to say you can't really plant a bear. It's not like the toilet roll people we have in the UK where, like, for every tree they chop down, they plant 3 more. I can't think what you could do with bears, because you can't, like, you can't take a dead bear and make babies from it. So, no idea. But, whatever. I guess you could feed the dead bear to some baby bears that are going to struggle. Maybe they're cannibal bears. The Sioux now have planes, although they're only triplanes. And again, the Shoshone have World War II fighters and bombers, which is really confusing me to how different these two nations are going. I mean, I think they are different ideologies, and they not. I think they are. They might be. I always expect the culture overview to be there. Let's have a look. So there's 2 order. The Sioux and Corral are both order nations. Commies. Brazil is freedom. And then Samoa, Argentina, Shoshone, Canada, autocracy. So yeah, autocratic is the way that the main big nations go. There's a lot of land ships heading over the sea. I think they've the Shoshone have just gone around all the schools in the country and said, right, who wants to drive a land ship? And then every kid that's put their hand up has been sent away to go to Europe. It's all an elaborate ploy. They're all going to arrive here and they're never going home again. That's what's going on there. Elaborate ploys. Come on, somebody settle something. There's loads of islands here, Samoa. You could have turned all these islands into like 34 population megacities by now. But instead, you just sat there and did nothing. Mapuche's navy has disappeared. I don't know if it's dispersed across the world. They used to have quite a good one. Maybe they just sort of sold it. Actually, there's still... Maybe it's just... It was these galleasses. They used to look cool. Now they don't. But they seem to be pretty cool with Argentina. They're chilling in the Great Wall. This is what I imagine Trump's wall looking like. Just stars put together. He's going to get rid of every great general the US has. He's going to just fire all the generals and turn them into citadels so that he can control the military by himself. There's actually a disco going on underneath this camouflaged banana plantation that is somehow growing. When you zoom out, it's just flashing a little bit. Don't know what's going on there. Let's look away if anything bad happens, such as a game breaking. Rest of the world, there's no wars. Do people not want to win? AI? Do you not want to win? The Sioux have given up in California. Although they don't have planes, which may make them redouble their efforts. Argentina are still just burning units, because, you know, they've got the biggest military in the world. What else do they do in their spare time? Of course they burn units away. Making them walk through the mountains only to get killed by some... I was gonna say native people, but the Corral aren't that far behind. They are shooting guns back. And they were smart enough to move their boats away earlier when there was artillery here. They've earned my approval, the Corral. Even though a lot of you now hate them because they did screw the Incans over. But either way, it happens sometimes, you know. Maybe I should have put the Inca here where this city is, Aspero. No, that's too near Chile. It was a tough decision. Moving the Mapuche up north was the biggest shock, because they went from like here next to Chile all the way up here, which was, you know, pretty big. And moving them here screwed the Mayans. But, you know, who cares about the Mayans? Come on. Is there anyone who's really upset that I killed the Mayans? Like, people actually complain to me about killing the Incans, but no one's complaining about the Mayans. They really got screwed. The Incans had a great opportunity, you know. They are a mountain-based civ. I took your points. But, you know, they could have, like, taken all of this land. They didn't just have to take 2 cities, and that was it. You know, they could have taken a lot more of the Amazon rainforest and done well. Even though it's not in the mountains. Fair point taken. Canada, good job. You killed all of those Australian units. There was like 7. Now there's 2. How did you... Oh, you've got an artillery, that's why. There's an army of Sioux workers and another Sioux settler arriving in Africa. Didn't notice that, but there we go. That's good news. Surprised they're not pumping out the settlers from Egypt yet. Oh, war. That's interesting. Culin v New Zealand. Solely, I take it, for Brisbane here. So this is pretty big. 5 population city between 2 rivers, floodplains. This would be quite a nice city to have. Obviously, it was formerly Australian. Australian Prime Minister is just chilling out here. He knows it's not safe. He'd rather be in a war zone than in Sydney. That's how filthy it is. Also, is there... Oh no, okay, there's a great general inside a building. I was like, is there just a giant statue in the middle of Australia? What is going on? In the middle of Sydney? But no, there's a great general that is just glitched inside a building. That makes more sense. Now, let's see how this plays out. It'd be interesting to see if the Samoans get involved and pick a side. See, the Kulin are the aggressor. Will they be a Samoa aiming for peace? Even though a Samoa aiming for peace probably shouldn't get involved. But that's no nation in the history of the Earth's taken that advice on board. Just let it be. It's like, you know, if they're having violence, just let them be. Whatever happens, happens. You know. But no one will take that. They will definitely pick a side to try and enforce peace, in air quotes. And wow, they have a big navy. They must be pretty close to the other guys. Oh no, they're still well off in 4th. Okay, the Sioux is winning the arms race now. They've overtaken the Shoshone, and they're catching Argentina too. But yes, Samoa are a bit behind, but that doesn't matter. Samoa don't need as big an army. Where are your melee units, Sioux? Can't just have artilleries in the sea, by the way. They are going to die. Coming session, cultural banning of pearls. I bet there's some colony. One of these colonies was settled just to get pearls. And there's an AI that's just really trying to screw somebody over. No, maybe not. Is there pearls? No, there's crabs. Ah, see, this is just to screw Australia, isn't it? Who did it? I bet it was probably Australia. They're not the smartest, those Australians. We'll have a look. It's probably Australia blocking pearls. Oh no, it's Canada. Okay, Canada. They saw what Australia had over here and they're like, nope, you're not having that. Embargo. As soon as the war was over as well, they just had to go in there and jab a finger in the wound. That is not the expression. It's rub salt in the wound. Mistakes were made. California, are you sending any more settlers? Because this is really annoying. Like, I mean, it's not. I think they're annoyed. They are as. Oh my goodness. Sometimes they are as annoyed as we are about the Tlingit not settling. So they've gone, hey look, Tlingit, you can do this, but only better. Look, we've taken one of the many bad spots away, so you can hopefully get a good spot. They definitely won't. The Tlingit are just going to leave it. This is an army of workers from the Sioux. This is going to These guys have been backbreaking for years. They're going to be gutted when this whole army comes and shows up. Sue, why'd you have anti-aircraft guns? I mean, they'd make sense if they were like along your Shoshone border. But do you really need them? California definitely don't have planes. I mean, only 2 nations in the world have planes. You're one of them. It's like the whole Russia-America nuke thing back in the day. But not anymore, obviously. Because a few other nations obviously have nukes now, which is always good to know. North Korea could North Korea's still empty, to be fair. Someone could come settle here. Surprised Gandhi's spirit has not taken over. It's obviously inside Kim Jong-un at the moment. He just wants to use his nukes, you know. Just wants a big fireworks show. We've all seen, well, if you've seen The Interview, great movie. Outbreaks ended. The Interview with the Katy Perry firework and Kim Jong-un singing along. That's all he wants, really. He just wants He just wants to see. He's just misunderstood the song. He wants to see America in a firework for real life. That's all Kim Jong really wants. It's all Katy Perry's fault, really. Exposed. There we go. YouTube drama. We're getting there. Shoshone have completed the Prora. No idea what that does, but it's another wonder. Oh my goodness, we got something. The Chinook may be killed, sadly, by the Tlingit, which would expose the Tlingit, maybe, probably not, to anybody. Go Tlingit. This is all we've got going for us in the world right now, because the Sioux aren't really making an effort, although they just grabbed the Kremlin. So I guess the Shoshone is going to represent the USA, the Sioux are going to represent the Soviet Union, and Argentina will probably come through late game and represent China. That's how I imagine this game's going to go. Even though Argentina is autocratic, not communist, and the Sioux is communist, so they are the Soviet Union. They've got the Kremlin, they're communist. What more do they need? That's all you need to be the Soviet Union. And they've got the Manhattan Project, although they got it before the Shoshone. Like I said, the Shoshone have got some weird. It's not normal that AI builds tanks and land ships. They probably don't have any uranium. That would be quite funny, but I don't know why. It's like they've agreed that one will go the top part of the tech tree, one will go the bottom. Obviously, that's not exactly what's going on. I don't know what the tech tree looks like off the top of my head, but yeah, it's like one of them's gone for the top branches and one's gone for the bottom, and eventually they're going to have to start going down the other ones. But they're rushing the top techs. They're rushing their side of it as much as possible, like paratroopers. But you still have great war infantry. To be fair, I think that's why they have so many land ships. It's because their Comanche Riders upgrade to land ships, I think. I'm not sure. But, you know, they do have a destroyer now in the Mediterranean. And a tank. We'll see how this plays out. Where is that Sioux settler? It's making its way across. It's going to take ages. If you're still at war, Sioux, that is the dumbest move ever. Why are you walking through Brazil? Like, that's not open borders. These two are still at war. Brazil does remember the settler you killed. Also, Chile is getting closer. I said nothing was going on. I ignored Chile's efforts to take out Brazil. The Sioux turn took ages. There we go. Okay, San Francisco has now fallen to the Sioux. Hopefully they can make a better effort of taking Sacramento. If they ever get their army through this gap. Chinook isn't falling just yet. The Tlingit aren't really doing anything. Oh, the Shoshone's military has moved to their larger city. I didn't notice it fully, but most of it is now spread out, which means Tlingit may live to see another day. But the Sioux have got a big arm. Yeah, the Sioux would definitely win. But the Shoshone they've got the maneuverability. They've got this artillery, rocket artillery. So not much artillery in general. I mean, you know, the Sioux have got quite a bit. And they still have cannons. It's just a bit of a mess, really. America's denounced Canada. The Iroquois have denounced Canada. Yeah, Canada, screw you. What have you been doing? Kulin, you're getting there. You're slowly fighting for Brisbane, which is a big chunk of land in Australia. The Kulin could benefit from this quite a bit. But New Zealand, oh my goodness, there is some big naval battles. This is basically 5th and 6th fighting off. This is what I said. This could decide who gets in the top 5. I think Samoa are probably going to come 4th. at the moment, which is really cool to see Samoa come forth. Because I went to so much effort to make sure they got in this game, to move them away from whatever island they did spawn on. I have no idea which one it was. I think it was this one. Which is apparently Canada probably... Oh no, the Kulin built a landmark. I was going to say, who built that? Well, let's see. Salvador is close to falling. Chile should take it. And then add another random bit of South America to their jigsaw puzzle of actual Chile, Cuba, and southern Mexico, and just it's all a mess. Northeastern South America, it's all just a mess from Chile. Really, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what any of these AI are doing. There's a whole world out there full of land. Like, if someone just started settling it all now, they could probably still catch up and win the game by the time we're done. But it won't happen. Just know it won't happen. Just sad me commentating on videos knowing it won't happen. But you guys keep watching them, so I guess that's why I'm going to keep doing them. I'm going to get a drink. Just have some water while nothing goes on in this world. Every time big can happen. Come on, Argentina, go in there. Go slip in and steal Chile's hard work. I know you want to. Kimberley have denounced Canada. Let's play find the Kimberleyan scout that's wandering the map somewhere. This is going to be difficult. Up there, I don't know, they've still got their trireme in the Eastern Mediterranean. They probably could have escaped. Oh, maybe the Sioux. Sioux are going for a different area. They're going to chop down some rainforests too. They've seen Australia doing it. They've seen Argentina become experts in doing it. Brazil tend to conserve a bit of it, but Argentina have just left this little bit. And all of these are full of those Brazil wood camps, which I'm pretty sure are actually cocaine manufacturing labs. But, you know, whatever Fire Axis wanna you know, name their wonders. Oh, that was quick. Brisbane didn't fall. There is never going to be an agreement on who is going to come fifth, is there? Australia is probably the messiest continent of all time, but Canada, that's the big thing. Canada were big, now they're small, but, you know, they've still got their lead. They've got the most votes in the Congress. Or I guess it's called, is it the United Nations yet? No, 5th Toronto Conference. I don't know if you want to be hosting conferences here. Like, everyone's got their ambassadors here, just knowing that all the ambassadors are sat there terrified. I presume that's why they're now friends with the Shoshone. Are those two both still embargoed? Who is embargoed? The Sioux and the Shoshone are both embargoed. They can only trade internally, yet they are still doing fine. Which is another reason Argentina may come through late game and win. Argentina with the settler, no idea where they're intending to send it. Better off sending it to Africa, but whatever. If you want to send it to the front lines as well, then go ahead. But yeah, Argentina could come in late game and still surprise us, but I don't know if they will. Don't want to get everybody's hopes up. They are taking up quite a bit of the sea now. Doubt their borders would never reach Africa, but Brazil, may on the other map, maybe Brazil would eventually connect their borders. The smaller Atlantic map. Oh, Pearls is banned. And cultural heritage sites failed. Oh, no one likes culture, obviously. Brazil and New Zealand pieced out. And that's it. Pacau has entered the industrial era. I have no idea how, because I'm pretty sure Pacau is the Incan leader. And he's dead. Oh, Argentina's got paratroopers. This is over. It's all over, Corral. This is the end. One paratrooper is going to come through and finish you off. Salvador is slowly getting there. Chile are slowly doing it. Chinook aren't even being attacked anymore. The Sioux are making progress, but slow progress. They are very confused on how to move their units through that region. But, I mean, in that time of confusion, they've built up their army significantly, and they're all waiting in line just to get a go at those Californians. They now have bombers, not great war bombers. That's good. It's an improvement. Who's winning as we come to the end of this episode? Who is winning the arms race now? The Sioux have now, and the Shoshone have both now overtaken. Wow, Sioux. 100,000 soldiers pumped out in those last few turns. I wasn't joking when I saw that queue building up. Look at the score though. Argentina dominant on score, but that is mostly to do with their wonders. Yeah, military manpower. Wow, Sioux 488,000, 440,000 Shoshone. Argentina 400,000 almost. Samoa 260,000. Mapuche are now up into 6th. I don't know if that's because of New Zealand just fighting the Kulin, lowering their numbers, or because Mapuche have actually built stuff. Doesn't seem like Mapuche have built too much, so I'm going to assume it's just because the Kulin and New Zealand were fighting each other. That Sioux settler is making his way across Africa. There is an Argentinian settler in the mountains. I have no idea where they're going to send it in the end. Or it's fine. Okay, the Sioux now have battleships in the Indian Ocean. It's going to be interesting to see where the bigger Civs, Shoshone and the Sioux, have their colonies and what they build in those colonies. We saw the the Shoshone did build a battleship destroyer. Yeah, we got there in a destroyer. It's up in Iceland. I don't know what it's doing up there. And the Sioux the Sioux can now police the world from the Middle East. I mean, that's obviously what they were trying to do here. Wait, no, because the Shoshone's the USA. Dang it. The Shoshone is controlling Europe through NATO with Canada's assistance now. And the Sioux is secretly influencing the Middle East, of course. That is a wonder. It just looks like a regular mountain, but it is a wonder. Mount Sinai. Sinai? No idea. 8 Faith. Maybe that will help. They've got the religion out here. That's pretty impressive. Probably going to settle further down the river towards Ethiopia. Let's have one more turn. Why not? I'll treat you today. Turn 390. We're getting near the end. Yeah, we're actually ending on turn 400, believe it or not. So, no, it's okay, don't worry. I know you're all going crazy right now. That SpongeBob scene where he's running around trying to figure out his name. Great meme. That's what's going on when I say stuff like that, isn't it? No, but there's no more settlers, though. On an honest level, I don't see any more settlers. No falling around. There's probably one just like stuck walking around. Like there's a Chinook worker here. I have no idea why it's here, but it is there. Nope, no more settlers as it seems. That Argentinian settler is staying outside the former Incan capital. It's not heading eastwards to go to Africa, so I don't know where they're trying to go. It's a very weird world. Very, very weird world. It's the 1970s are upon us, and yet still the world has not been colonized. Australia v Brazil, that is kind of weird. Kind of weird. I mean, maybe they'll send a couple of units from Canberra. Why have the workers stopped? Sioux workers, believe it or not, I know they're taking a break, aren't they? They know that their overlord over here, Papa Sitting Bull, isn't able to see them right now, so they're taking a quick break and they're just letting the settler go on. But anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. As always, if you have enjoyed, it would be awesome if you could leave a like and a comment. If you are new, it would be awesome if you could subscribe. You can also follow my Twitch channel if you're interested in Twitch streams. I do some cool stuff on there occasionally, not very often. But, you know, when I do it. I mean, if you don't, it doesn't really matter because I'll post the good stuff onto YouTube anyway. But anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.